Alright, rolling, go ahead and take a seat.
I heard about HXP for the first time when my little brother went on his trip. He loved it. Like, he wasn't really associated with like the gospel, but he went on an HXP trip and just like gained a really cool perspective, gained a lot of friends.
My best friend, she told me about it. I had recently had a breakup and was having a rough time, and she said that she had just applied and was like, you should apply too.
I had heard about it from a senior missionary couple from my mission.
Heard about HXP through my friends. She came back, just couldn't shut up about it.
I had a couple of friends that came to me and said, hey, let's do this. I went on this trip, man, and it changed my whole life.
Life has kind of always been up to this point kind of about me, but leading the trips was the first time that I had like to completely shift my perspective.
It really is a mini missionary experience for these kids, and to be able to have it structured around the gospel, it creates a totally different trip than just going and traveling.
It just like shifts everything, and it's like, oh, I actually understand why we're here on this earth. I think it just made it so much more real for me.
But HXP is a time I see the gospel become real in my life. Surrounded by it all the time, it becomes just like a thing I do rather than a thing that I live.
I feel like on HXP trips, life is so real. I don't know, it's silly when you're home and you're doing your desk office job and you're doing this and that and you're like, oh, this is life. But when you're out there and kids are crying, telling you how their struggles and they want to change, and you're helping and they're being honest with someone for the first time, and you see the trajectory of their lives change, you go, why would I want to waste any more time doing spreadsheets when I can be out here, watching people's destinies be flipped upside down?
I don't think I ever fully understood God's love until I went on an HXP trip. I was able to see them as God sees them, and I'd never experienced anything like that before.
When I'm preparing for my kids, when I'm thinking about them, praying for them, I feel like I'm at my spiritual peak.
But yeah, West Virginia, we got there and we started painting people's houses. People took notice. Maybe they didn't care about the house being painted, but they're like, somebody actually cares about us. We even got on the news because people were like, people care and like are helping people out here.
And dude, I miss that feeling that I had on my mission where I was constantly in the service of others, the joy that service brought.
I think it's so impactful to have a mentor who can look at each builder and see what they need and then just believe in them and understand them like God does.
I remember coming home that first year being so pumped, and I just felt spiritually strong, and I felt just like so motivated to change and to be a good person. It's so awesome to be part of their lives in such a vital time in their lives too, where they're trying to figure out life.
If I want a life to find my meaning and purpose and in impacting people in a positive way, I've yet to find a vehicle to do as much of that in an intense a way as efficiently as HXP trips.
HXP represents for me going out and spending 2 to 4 weeks and allowing God's work to unfold by just being a willing vessel for Him to work through.
God can do a lot with the small and simple things, and if you think about it, HXP, an organization run by 20-year-olds, I bet 30 plus countries, God can do the unthinkable. And God can perform miracles, and we see them today, and it's happening in HXP.
Going about doing good like Christ did in His life. It is your life to the fullest, and also the gospel in the way it's supposed to be lived.
So many good things, so many of the most amazing things in my life that have happened to me, I can directly trace back to the decision to go on a trip as a builder.
But I love the way that it strips down the purpose to love God and to love people.
It represents love. I don't think I can sum it up in any other way.
I feel like a lot of times in your life, you know what you can be, but we're either too lazy or too afraid to reach that. I had a very difficult time in my life. All of a sudden, I found confidence through Christ because of HXP.
I was a little lost, like graduating, not being at the MTC anymore. And it really kind of lit a fire again that God wants us all to be a part of this work. And President Nelson said, we can be a big part of this work. if we choose to.
The long-lasting effects of what an HXP trip can have on someone. I've felt those effects in myself, and I've seen it in like my family's lives. My sister, she went on an HXP trip when she was in high school. You know, she didn't have like the most friends in high school, and she went to Africa and came back with all these people, and then they became her roommates in college, and they became her best friends. So she just like found her people there.
And honestly, these kids just need someone to believe in them. And I think God really helps you be in that position to where you can see them like He sees them and knows them like He knows them.
My HXP experience was life-changing.
My HXP experience was incredible.
My HXP experience was beautifully chaotic.
My HXP experience was marvelous.
Exciting.
Miraculous.
Big love.
Love.
Love. Game changing.
Life-changing.
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 God's hand has been so in it. And so I can't help but think that it's just so divine.